Well, as the dust settles in the aftermath of the attack in Libya, many questions remain. And while the Obama administration is coming under scrutiny for failing to protect U.S. embassies and diplomatic buildings, there's more details coming out today that's adding fuel to the fire. According to the Washington Post, several sensitive documents were left inside the ravaged building. We're talking about emergency evacuation plans, records of Libyans contracted to work at the mission, including extensive personal information. And what you're looking at right now is Ambassador Stevens' itinerary of his trip to Libya. Of course, you can see that some of the sensitive information has been blocked out. Now, the compound was reportedly locked up several days after the attack, but by then the place was already looted. So who knows who has their hands on what at this point? And the FBI agents just arrived in Benghazi today. So what's taking so long, and what does this all mean for the American operation in Libya? To discuss this and more, I'm joined now by Warren Strobel, Foreign Policy and National Security Editor at Reuters. Warren, welcome. So the FBI just arrived in Benghazi today. We just got word. What took so long?
There appeared to have been some sort of disagreement or lack of agreement between the U.S. side and the Libyan side about cooperation, and it's really quite astonishing. It took them almost 3 weeks to get to Benghazi. The Pentagon announced today that they had some U.S. military forces had gone in, not combat forces, but military logistics had gone in to help the FBI get to Benghazi, and that they and the FBI had already left. So it seems as if the FBI has already left Benghazi after less than a day on the ground. It's quite extraordinary.
Wow. I mean, the State Department has said all along, kind of scrambling. They say that the FBI has been investigating. But if they just got there today, I mean, what kind of investigation could they really have been doing?
Yeah, we don't know the answer to that. And there was another announcement today from Eric Holder, the Attorney General of the United States. At a press conference, he said, well, we're doing lots of things, not just in Benghazi, but elsewhere in Libya and elsewhere around the world. This isn't just a Benghazi-focused investigation. We're making progress. He didn't give us any details. But either way, it seems pretty extraordinary to me that they would take, as I said, almost 3 weeks to get to the site itself and then spend less than a day there. And as you said in the lead-in, meanwhile, we've had at least 2 journalistic organizations go in and just stroll through and get very sensitive documents.
That's right. I mean, we had that journal, and then now the newest thing is from the Washington Post. They found all these abandoned documents, and with them being kind of just out for grabs, what kind of dangers does that pose?
Well, the answer is that we don't know, but I mean, the Washington Post got a hold of the personal itinerary of the ambassador. They got a hold of some contracting documents for a company named Blue Mountain Group that was supposed to help with the perimeter security of the consulate. They got a hold of evacuation plans, which looked to me like fairly standard evacuation plans for any embassy, but still somewhat sensitive. And the truth is, we don't know what other people might have gotten. The compound was abandoned, obviously, rather quickly under fire, and there could have been even more sensitive materials there that Libyan militias or who knows who, just picked up and took.
And you said that the FBI was there for just a short time. I mean, we just heard that they were there today. You're saying that they've already left. So what kind of additional details can we expect, or what else can we learn from their investigation there?
I think, quite honestly, that's going to take some time for us to know how the investigation is going. But it's just really interesting that they seem to have arrived today and left today, and one does wonder how much you can accomplish in that period of time. I suppose it's important that they finally did get there, but even if they did get there, it seems like the crime scene, so to speak, is already very compromised. It's not a clean crime scene, and the investigation is probably being made more difficult by that very fact.
And absolutely, you use the word compromised, and it has a lot of people wondering right now, why was the compound not made more secure after one of our diplomatic buildings, one of our ambassadors was killed, one of our buildings was decimated? Why wasn't more done to secure the building after the fact?
Well, the truth is that the U.S., right after the attack on September 11th, 2012, evacuated everybody, all U.S. government personnel from Benghazi, so there was nobody really there to secure it. And as you know, there's issues not just about what happened after the attack, but there's serious issues about what happened before the attack. A congressional committee is now looking into this. There's going to be a hearing next Wednesday. There are allegations that U.S. personnel on the ground in Libya asked for security reinforcements before the death of the ambassador, several months before. Those were denied. And there's real questions why this compound in a very dangerous part of eastern Libya was left, I won't say undefended, but the security precautions seem to be fairly rudimentary.
And that's exactly it. And it has a lot of people asking a lot of questions. I mean, do you think, or are your sources, or what are they telling you? Does this seem to be an intelligence failure?
I'm not sure intelligence failure is the right word. There was plenty of intelligence that Benghazi was a dangerous place to be, that there were various militant groups, both from Libya itself and from North Africa more generally. There were warnings. There was not a specific warning that there would be an attack around September 11, 2012. But it was known that there was danger. The ambassador's diary, which was found by CNN in the compound, indicates that he was concerned about security. So it's not so much an intelligence failure, it's like a reaction failure, or it appears to be a reaction failure where the necessary steps weren't taken. The Americans believe very strongly they should be in Benghazi. It was the cradle of the revolution against Gaddafi. It's Libya's second city. They believe very strongly they should be there, but it doesn't look like, of course, all the precautions were taken in a place that dangerous.
Yes, definitely still a lot of questions. And of course, after the tragedy, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton came out and said that they were doing everything in their power to bring whoever is responsible to justice. But it seems like, with this delay and there's this dragging of feet, people are asking if that really is indeed the case. I want to ask you about more about these documents. We had CNN, we have the Washington Post getting a hold of them. And we don't know who got a hold of them, I guess. Time will tell. But, I mean, is it likely or is it possible that al-Qaeda affiliates and others also have their hands on this sensitive information, a lot of it containing personal information?
It seems quite possible. There were probably very sensitive classified documents in this facility. We don't know, in all the chaos, the violence, whether those documents were extracted to a safe place. There's another compound in Benghazi nearby where the American personnel retreated to. It's possible that some of those documents were safeguarded, but it's also very possible that they weren't. And as you said, Liz, that people went in there and just picked them up, and we don't know who they could be. Even if it wasn't al-Qaeda, it could have been somebody with a motive, a monetary motive, if nothing else, to sell them to al-Qaeda. So it's got to be very concerning from the American point of view.
Absolutely.
If a Washington Post reporter can just stroll in there 3 weeks after the event, he literally just apparently walked into the compound and found this stuff, what else could have happened?
Absolutely. And lastly, Warren, just want to ask you, the Obama administration right now is being criticized for the way that it's handling this crisis, both before and after the event. This can't look good for the Obama administration at this point.
That's true. I mean, it's also true, to be honest, that foreign policy and national security generally are not the big issues in the U.S. election. But this is a problem for the Obama administration. Their explanation of how the attack occurred has shifted. They started out by saying it was morphed out of a protest against this anti-Muslim video. And then finally, 2 weeks later, they said, oh, no, it was a deliberate organized attack by militants. So their explanation has shifted, and that has raised questions about what they knew and when they knew it and how they've described the attack. And if nothing else, it's a distraction and a negative for Obama as he campaigns for re-election 5 weeks from now.
All right, a lot of questions. Hopefully we'll get some more answers, but we appreciate you so much for coming on the show. That was Warren Strobel, Foreign Policy and National Security Editor at Reuters.